You are driving home at 11 o'clock at night on a two-lane road with no streetlights. Your hands are tight on the wheel. You are leaning forward like that is somehow going to help you see further into the darkness, and your headlights are doing absolutely nothing. They look like a pair of dying birthday candles trapped behind a fog of yellow, cloudy, oxidized plastic that makes your car look like it belongs in a junkyard and makes you feel like you are navigating blind through a tunnel. That sick anxiety in your chest when you cannot see a deer, a pothole, a pedestrian, a curve in the road until you are right on top of it is not just frustration. That is a safety crisis happening on your driveway every single time the sun goes down, and the headlight restoration industry has been laughing all the way to the bank while you suffer through it. You finally broke down and bought one of those kits from the auto parts store. $35. You saw the before and after photos on the box and you thought, okay, this is finally it. This is the fix. You blocked out a Saturday morning. You taped up your hood and your bumper. You wet sanded with 3 different grits of sandpaper. Your arm burning, your knuckles raw, sweat dripping, and you spent a full hour grinding away at those lenses like you were trying to sand them into a completely different shape. And when you were done, you stepped back and they actually looked clear, crystal clear. You felt like a genius. You put the kit away with a sense of real satisfaction. Then 60 days later, 90 days later, you walk out to your car in the parking lot of a grocery store in the afternoon light and you stop cold because they are worse. Not just foggy again, genuinely, measurably worse than when you started. Cloudier than before you ever touched them, a deeper, angrier yellow, and you stand there in that parking lot feeling absolutely defeated, not understanding why, not knowing that you were set up to fail the moment you opened that box. The kits were designed to bring you back. What I am about to show you costs 50 cents. It lives in your kitchen right now. It works in 60 seconds flat with zero sandpaper, zero scrubbing, zero elbow grease, and it does not destroy your headlights in the process. Grab a lemon and a box of baking soda because we are about to melt decades of yellow oxidation off your lenses with pure chemistry, and by the end of this, you are going to be furious that nobody told you this sooner. Before we get into the actual method, you need to understand what is happening on your headlight lens at a molecular level, because once you understand the real problem, you will immediately see why sandpaper is not just useless, it is genuinely destructive. Your headlights are made from polycarbonate plastic, which is actually a beautiful material when it is new. It is lightweight, shatter-resistant, and optically clear. But polycarbonate has one serious weakness, which is ultraviolet radiation from the sun. When the factory manufactures your headlight assembly, they apply a thin UV protective coating over the surface of the lens. Think of it like a clear sunscreen layer baked onto the top of the plastic. That UV coat is what keeps your headlights clear for the first few years. The problem is that coat degrades over time. Heat, oxygen, rain, and direct UV exposure break down that protective layer, and once it starts to go, the UV rays begin attacking the polycarbonate itself. The plastic undergoes a chemical process called photooxidation, where the UV energy breaks apart the polymer chains in the plastic and causes them to rearrange into shorter, discolored fragments. Those fragments accumulate on the surface of your lens as a thick, yellowish, brittle oxidation layer. That yellow crust is not your headlight. It is dead, oxidized plastic sitting on top of your headlight, and it is blocking nearly 40 to 60% of your light output. Now here is where the entire restoration kit industry commits what I can only describe as an act of corporate predation against every car owner who trusts them. That $35 kit they sell you at the auto parts store is built around one core tool, and that tool is sandpaper. They give you a progression of wet sandpaper grits, starting around 800, moving up to 2,000, 3,000, sometimes higher, and they tell you to sand the lens until the oxidation is gone. And it works, temporarily, because you are physically grinding the dead plastic away. But here is what they absolutely do not put on that box. The factory UV protective coating comes off first. That coating is thinner than a human hair, and the moment you touch sandpaper to your lens, even the finest 3,000 grit sandpaper, you are abrading that UV protection away. Not just the oxidized layer, the healthy, clear, factory-applied protective coating underneath it. Every single microscopic scratch that sandpaper leaves behind also creates a valley in your polycarbonate surface. Millions of tiny valleys per square inch. Those valleys catch airborne contaminants, brake dust, road grime, industrial fallout. They scatter light in every direction instead of projecting it forward, which is why your headlights look hazy and dim within weeks even after sanding. And without that UV coating, the now freshly exposed polycarbonate has zero protection from the sun. Raw polycarbonate oxidizes dramatically faster than coated polycarbonate. So when those kit manufacturers tell you your results may vary or reapplication may be needed after 3 months, what they are actually admitting, in the most politely disguised corporate language possible, is that their product is going to make your headlights deteriorate 10 times faster than they would have naturally. They sanded off your factory protection. Now they want to sell you their branded UV sealant, their ceramic wipes, their follow-up coating kits to replace the protection that was already on your car for free and that they just made you destroy. It is an engineered cycle of dependency, and it is one of the most cynical little scams in the entire automotive aftermarket, and the companies building those kits know exactly what they are doing. They are not selling headlight restoration, they are selling headlight addiction. Every kit you buy is the beginning of a subscription you never agreed to because now your lenses are compromised and you will be back in that store every 90 days for the rest of the time you own that car. You are not their customer, you are their patient on a permanent treatment plan, and the treatment plan is the disease. Subscribe right now if you are done being a revenue stream for detailing corporations that profit from your repeat business. Every single video on this channel exists to cut the cord, hand you back the chemistry they never wanted you to understand, and make sure you never have to stand in a parking lot staring at your foggy headlights feeling helpless again. Hit that button and let us keep going, because the good part is right here. The reason a lemon and baking soda works is not a folk remedy. It is not a hack somebody found on a forum. It is precise, documented chemistry applied to a well-understood problem. Here is the science broken down in full, so you understand exactly why this works and exactly what is happening on your lens when you apply it. Headlight oxidation, as we established, is an acidic process. The photo-oxidized polymer fragments that make up that yellow crust are acidic compounds. UV degradation of polycarbonate produces acidic byproducts, including carbonyl compounds and aromatic amine derivatives, all of which sit in the pH range below 7. The yellow film is essentially a layer of acidic debris stuck to your lens surface. Now, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, which is a mild but highly effective alkaline compound with a pH of approximately 8.3. It is a base. And lemon juice contains citric acid, a naturally occurring organic acid with a pH of around 2 to 2.5. When you press a lemon that has been loaded with baking soda against your headlight lens, two chemical reactions begin simultaneously. The first reaction is between the citric acid in the lemon and the sodium bicarbonate, and that is your visible fizz. That effervescent foam is carbon dioxide being released as the acid and base react, and those carbon dioxide bubbles are not decorative, they are mechanical. Each bubble forms directly under and within the oxidized layer, and as it expands and pops, it physically lifts the brittle, dead polymer fragments off the surface of the lens. You are not scrubbing the oxidation off, the chemistry is ejecting it. The second and more important reaction is the alkaline neutralization happening at the molecular level. The high pH environment created by the baking soda solution directly attacks and breaks the chemical bonds holding the acidic oxidation layer to the polycarbonate surface. The alkaline foam penetrates the porous, damaged outer layer of the lens, ionizes the oxidized compounds, and detaches them from the healthy polycarbonate underneath. The clean, clear, healthy plastic that was trapped under that yellow film is not damaged. It has been in there the whole time, preserved and protected by the very oxidation layer sitting on top of it, which is why when the oxidation lifts away, you get genuine factory clarity returned, not a sanded approximation of it. This is not an abrasive process. Nothing is scratching your lens. Nothing is removing your UV coating. Nothing is creating microscopic valleys. You are using a targeted chemical reaction to dissolve and lift an acidic contaminant layer off an alkaline-sensitive surface. And you are doing it with a lemon and a spoonful of powder from a cardboard box that costs $1.50 at any grocery store in the world. That 50-cent calculation accounts for the fraction of the box and the single lemon you are using, by the way. The total material cost per headlight is genuinely less than 50 cents, not $50, not $35, 50 cents. Let us talk about the application protocol in full, because the method matters and, more critically, there is a warning attached to this that I need you to take extremely seriously, because if you skip one step at the end, you can permanently destroy your headlights in a way that no restoration kit and no kitchen chemistry can ever fix. Here is how you do this correctly. Start with a cool, dry lens. Do not do this in direct afternoon sunlight on a hot day. Do this in the morning, in the shade, or in a garage. The chemistry works best when neither the lens nor the lemon is hot, and the warning I am about to give you at the end of these steps becomes even more critical in high heat conditions. Grab a fresh lemon and cut it cleanly in half with a sharp knife so you have a flat, exposed citrus surface. Get your box of baking soda out. Now, dip the cut face of the lemon firmly and generously into the baking soda so that a thick, visible coating of the powder is sitting in the citrus flesh. You want real coverage here. Do not be stingy. Press that loaded lemon face directly onto your headlight lens and begin working it across the surface in slow, overlapping circular passes. You will feel the fizzing immediately. You will see the foam building. Keep moving. Work from one edge of the lens to the other, reloading the lemon with baking soda from the box as the fizzing slows. You are not scrubbing, you are massaging. The pressure you are using is the pressure you would use to ice a cake, not the pressure you would use to sand wood. Let the chemistry do the lifting while you just keep the active, foaming surface in contact with the lens. Within 30 to 60 seconds on most lenses, you will see the yellow residue transferring onto your lemon. The foam may turn slightly yellow or brownish as it picks up the oxidation. That is exactly what is supposed to happen. Keep going until you have covered the entire lens surface with active, fresh foam. Now, here is the critical warning, and I need you to stop and read this twice because this is the step where people destroy their headlights permanently. And it is the step nobody ever talks about when they share this hack online. You have 2 minutes maximum from the moment you start applying the lemon and baking soda to the moment you begin your rinse. Do not let this mixture sit on your lens and dry. Do not walk away to grab something. Do not answer your phone. Do not get distracted. 2 minutes is your hard limit. Here is why. Citric acid is an effective and aggressive mild acid that, when left to evaporate and concentrate on a polycarbonate surface in warm or sunny conditions, will begin to etch the plastic. Etching is a chemical engraving. It is not discoloration. It is not haziness. It is permanent microscopic pitting and scarring of the polycarbonate surface itself, and it will turn your headlight lens a deep, permanent, irreversible milky white that looks like frosted glass. That damage cannot be buffed out. It cannot be chemically removed. The only fix for a chemically etched headlight lens is a full headlight assembly replacement, which on many modern vehicles will cost you between $200 and $800 per side at a dealership. You came here to save $35. Do not create a $1,000 problem by walking away for 3 minutes. Your rinse protocol is as follows. Within 2 minutes of application, hit the entire lens with a heavy, forceful stream of clean water to blast the foam and residue off the surface. Then immediately follow with a thorough wash using soapy water, a proper car wash soap, or even a few drops of dish soap in a bucket, and a soft microfiber wash mitt or sponge. That soapy water rinse is critical because you need to neutralize any remaining acid and alkaline residue on the surface and physically wash it all away. Rinse again with clean water until the lens runs completely clear and you can see no soap. Then dry immediately with a clean, soft microfiber towel. Do not let it air dry in the sun after you rinse. Dry it manually and dry it quickly. Once dry, inspect your lens. In most cases, on lenses with moderate oxidation, you will be looking at factory clarity or extremely close to it after a single application. On severely oxidized lenses that have been yellow for 5 or more years, you may choose to do a second application following the same exact protocol with the same 2-minute timer, and again, do not skip the thorough soapy rinse. If you want to protect your restored clarity and extend the results, follow up with a quality carnauba wax or a spray sealant applied to the lens surface after it is fully clean and dry. This will give the polycarbonate a temporary barrier against UV exposure and buy you additional months of clarity before you need to reapply the lemon and baking soda treatment. The wax is not required for the treatment to work, but it is a smart 5-minute follow-up that costs a few cents worth of product and meaningfully extends your results. Now let us put these two approaches side by side with full honesty and talk about what you are actually choosing between. On one side, you have a $35 kit containing multiple grits of wet sandpaper, a plastic polishing compound, and a small bottle of UV sealant. The sandpaper physically abrades your lens surface, removing not only the oxidized layer but also your factory UV protection and a measurable amount of healthy polycarbonate. It leaves behind millions of microscopic scratches and surface valleys that accelerate future contamination and oxidation. Without your factory coating, your freshly sanded lenses begin oxidizing dramatically faster than they did before you sanded them, which is why you are back to foggy, yellow lenses in 60 to 90 days. The UV sealant in the kit, which you must apply perfectly and reapply on schedule or it offers no protection, is their attempt to replace the factory protection they just made you sand off. And every time that sealant fails, every time the oxidation comes back faster and heavier than before, they have another kit waiting for you on the shelf. The machine keeps running. On the other side, you have half a lemon and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda. Total cost, 50 cents. Zero abrasion, zero surface damage, zero UV coating removal. A targeted chemical reaction that dissolves and lifts the acidic oxidation layer without touching the healthy polycarbonate underneath. Factory clarity in 60 seconds. And if you follow the protocol correctly and you do not skip the thorough rinse, no risk of permanent damage whatsoever. The lens is left intact, the healthy polycarbonate is exposed and undamaged, and your restoration results last significantly longer than the sanded version because you did not compromise the surface integrity of the lens to achieve them. When oxidation does begin to return over time as UV exposure continues, you do another 50-cent treatment. Not another $35 kit. Not another Saturday morning with sandpaper and sore arms. 50 cents and 60 seconds. That is the entire commitment. Right now, somewhere in your contact list, there is a person who is genuinely about to waste their Saturday morning with a Headlight kit. They have probably already bought it. It is sitting on their passenger seat or on their workbench in the garage. They are going to spend an hour sanding, feel great about it for 2 months, and then wake up to worse headlights than they started with and no idea why. That person needs this video sent to them today. Not tomorrow. Today. Before they open that box, hit the share button right now and send it directly to them. One share from you could save them $35, an hour of pointless labor, and the long-term damage to their headlights that kit was always going to cause. Share it in your car group. Share it in your neighborhood page. Share it with your dad who still buys those kits every spring like clockwork. The headlight restoration industry needs you to stay uninformed and keep buying kits. Sharing this video is the most direct way to take money out of their pocket and put knowledge back into the hands of real car owners who deserve better than a $35 product designed to create a problem while pretending to solve it. The lemon is on your counter, the baking soda is in your pantry, your headlights are waiting. Go do it right now.